guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is Caroline. In this week's video, I have prepared this Scandinavian inspired Christmas card, which are really simple and easy to make, where I'll demonstrate on how to paint a Christmas tree, pine cone and holly berry leaves. Are you ready? Let's jump right into it. We will start off with painting a Christmas tree, and the materials we will need is an A5 size watercolor paper, size 6 brush, preferably one with a pointy tip, masking fluid, and a white ink pen. With a pencil, I am lightly sketching a tall triangle onto the paper to get the composition of the Christmas tree right. Getting the shapes and size right from the very beginning is important because this will help us to avoid any silly mistakes like a lopsided looking tree at the end. I know it sounds impossible to make this mistake, but trust me, I've painted myself too many fat, short, or just plain odd looking trees. And next, I am using this masking fluid which I got from Hobain. I find this very convenient because it comes with an applicator which can be directly applied onto the paper without creating much mess. And because I am creating snow on the pine tree, the color of the snow will be left paper white, and this masking fluid will act as a mask to block off paints from getting onto the areas. Starting from the top of the pine tree, the snows are created in really small regular thin lines. As we progress downwards the tree, these lines get fatter and longer. To make the snow look more realistic, draw them in a slight upside down U curve instead of a straight horizontal line, and have these lines overlap with one another, with some crossing over from the top left to the bottom right. Once you're done, leave the masking fluid to dry completely. For me, I left it aside for about 30 minutes. This step is really important to ensure the masking fluid is completely 100% dry. While waiting, you may forward on to the next card and come back to this later. Next, mix in a dark green color. Here I'm using greenish umber paints, and with a size 6 brush that comes with a tiny sharp tip, draw in the thin lines starting from the top of the pine tree. It's like drawing plenty of tiny little spikes for the pine tree leaves on the outer side. Try to keep them as fine as possible and draw them within the areas of the pencil sketch triangle. And on the center of the tree, I'll just fill them in with more dark green paints. And for the tree trunk, I mix in a little bit of sepia to give it a more dark brown hue. The painting is done, and now I'll just give it a quick dry with my hairdryer. And now we are ready to remove the masking fluid. There are a few ways you may attempt to remove the masking fluid. Here I'm using a small piece of paper towel. But after a while, the paper towel starts getting stained from the green paints. So be sure to flip over and use the other clean side, or else our clean white snow might get dirty. If you start getting bored like me, the second method you may try is by using your fingers. Gently scratch and peel off the masking fluid. The third way is using an eraser. This method may be a bit messy as you get rubber dust coming out. And I'm back to using my fingers. I'd just like to say, be patient when doing this. It may get frustrating at times, and if not careful, the paper may sometimes get torn off. So yeah, take it slow and enjoy the process. Once more and more of the masking fluid comes off, you'll start to see how beautiful your Christmas tree is becoming. For the final touch-up, using the same dark green, further define the snow areas that might need some touching up. You may add in more of the spikes on the areas that lack details. Give it a quick dry and grab a white ink pen. Draw in white dots around the green areas to create smaller patches of snow. And this is how it looks in the end. Simple, isn't it? I really like how it still looks so realistic and sophisticated at the same time. Okay, let's get on to our second card. We will be doing a pine cone in loose watercolor style. And here is an image which I got from Pinterest. We won't be sketching it exactly the same, but just to get an idea how the overall shape looks. And we can see that the pine cone has an oval shape. So I start off with just sketching the outer line. Then let's go ahead and fill in the shapes inside the outer line. What I'm drawing here is like a triangle branching off the center of the cone, which basically look like this, and a few others facing in different directions. And moving down the cone, we will just draw in triangles without their branches. These triangles then start to look smaller as we move down the cone. Be sure to keep these triangles within the outline sketch. And once that's done, let's erase the outer line. With a light wash of yellow ochre, we start off with just painting in the triangle branches like so. Next, let's go one shade darker by mixing in a little bit of burnt sienna with the previous color and start to build up the shadows beneath. At this point, your pinecone may start to look really awkward. Please don't panic. We are now at the awkward phase, so just keep going and I promise you it will start to look a lot like a pinecone in our next few steps. For the third hue, I'm going another shade darker and adding in some burnt umber to the mixture. Then slowly fill in the inner deeper areas and the white areas where the darker shadows lie. At the same time, try not to touch the triangles as they will remain as our lightest highlighted area. For the darkest hue, I'm going in with the darkest brown using sepia. Paint in only a little to further define the darkest shadows and the outline. Prepare a mixture of sap green, paint out the leaves with long, thin lines like so. Start off from the center of the pine cone and brush it outwards to get finer lines at the end. And repeat the same steps using a darker green. And let's paint in some branches. Taking the darkest brown of sepia, prepare a thick mixture and draw in the branches with crooked lines. To give it a better composition, I decided to add more branches and some more leaves on both sides. And let's add in another pine cone in the background. For this, I'm just painting a very rough shape of the pine cone using the same colors we did earlier, going in from the lightest brown of yellow ochre to roughly paint out the oval shape of the pine cone, and then slowly building in darker shades of brown until we get the darker shadows of sepia. For the finishing touch, let's splatter in some sap green paints. And this is our pine cone Christmas card. A simple and elegant Christmas card, don't you think? For the last card, we will do an easy holly berry leaves. Feel free to pause the video right here to follow this pencil sketch. Okay, let's start painting with the berries. Taking some red, fill the whole circle and leaving out only a tiny white spot on the top left for the highlight. And using sepia, paint in the branch. Do the same for the rest of the berries. For the leaves, we will be playing around with these three colors of yellow, green light, sap green and greenish umber. Starting with sap green, I'm just painting on one side of the leaf and then switching over to a darker green. And here I'm allowing the darker green to blend in with the sap green. Then with a dry clean brush, lift up some of the paints to create a lighter shade. And with the same process, repeat on the other side of the leaf. While doing this, leave out the center vein of the leaf paper white. And all I'm doing now is just switching around between the three colors, from light green to darker green, then darker to lighter green. As a result, you will see all three tones of highlights, middle tones and darker tones in one leaf. And then repeat these same steps for the rest of the leaves. And this wraps up our last Christmas card. I hope you enjoy painting these simple yet elegant Christmas cards with me. I can't wait to see your beautiful works, so do share them with me on Instagram. And before I end, I would like to say a big thank you to you guys for supporting me on this journey, and I wish you all amazing peeps a joyful Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next week. Bye!